There we go. Hi, guys. Okay. Welcome everyone to the December 15th meeting of the Amherst Historical Commission. It is 7:05 p.m. We are here for two public hearings and a public meeting today. Um, the In accordance with Massachusetts law, the public hearing and public meeting of the Town of Amherst Historical Condition. I'm just having a hard time with it today. Town of Amherst Historical Commission is being conducted via remote participation. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so via Zoom or by telephone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time. A hyperlink to the hearing has been posted on the town's online calendar, I think, as well as the telephone number for calling in. We currently have a quorum of 4 members. I know that we're waiting for George to join us. Do we expect Pat or no? You're muted, Walker, yeah.
I haven't heard from Pat, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I did
Um,
send her the link too, though, so.
okay. Do you want to pause for a moment to see if George can get in?
Yeah, I just emailed him and suggested he just try joining from the town calendar.
Yeah.
And I'll just promote him, so
Okay.
hopefully he
Just
can.
give a moment. I just wanted, because
Yeah.
we're gonna have to do, we have to do a motion to open the public hearing, right? Is that right? Yeah, okay. No luck yet?
No, I imagine it's going to take him a minute to find the calendar link.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can tell, well, yeah, and it's all the way at the bottom.
Yep. What pants size am I?
All right, well, I'm going to start by taking just attendance. So when you hear your name, you can just answer here. Pat Oth is not here. George Badinger, I think, is not with us yet. Joel Greenbaum? And you
Here,
gotta unmute.
here,
There you go.
here.
Unmute and say here. Kenzie Lansettle.
Here.
Hetty Startup.
Here.
And I'm Chair Robin Fordham. I am here. So as I said, we have a quorum currently right now of 4 members. And since we're having some technical difficulty with one of our members, and it's already 7:10, I'm going to get going with our public hearings. We have two demolition permit requests before us. So in order to open the public hearing, excuse me, we need a motion and then we need to vote on that motion. So the chair will entertain a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Joel, second. So and then we take a vote on opening the hearing. So I will call on Joel. So now you're voting to open the hearing. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Hetty,
Yes.
Mackenzie.
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So the vote is 4-0 to open the public hearing. And we can begin with the application for 76 North East Street. The applicant is Brian Wargus. This is a request to demolish a portion of an attached garage on a single family home. So Walker, do we want to start with the presentation by the applicant?
If anyone in the audience is here for that project, raise your hand and I will promote you to a panelist so you can. All right, just going to take a minute to get everybody in. There's 3 of them. And then we'll be ready.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
So this is the opportunity for the applicant to present to the commission. So I'm just going to hand the floor over to you.
Brian, would you like me to navigate or do you want to navigate?
You please. You got the Zoom skills.
Okay. We're gonna try not to struggle with the technology too much.
Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself to the commission.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Brian, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Brian Warges. I am the contractor for this project. And my partners in crime are Bruce Conlon and Ree Traub, who are on the other Zoom end. And this is Ree's design. And she did a lot of work putting this together for us.
We also have oh, I'm looking at your daughter's name there. Sorry.
Amy Hansen and Tim Hansen are the homeowners.
The homeowners of the project.
Oh, are they on this? Sorry, I can't see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Under her daughter's name. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm assuming that all of you guys have seen these plans. What we're dealing with is, an absolutely amazing historic house in Amherst that we want to try to do our best to preserve. But as you can see, we are Amy is interested in taking care of some, clear structural issues while also trying to preserve the integrity of the house and at the same time, do some of the projects to her house that are going to make it more livable. We have, gone over to this barn/garage structure a few times. Bruce and Brian have worked on this house for many, many years. And what we're seeing is, considerable rot and sistering. And we're assuming that parts of this building, parts of these or I should say timbers, have been brought from other structures at one point and maybe made into barns on the back, this area of the building right here. But at this point, they are in poor shape. Part of the problem was that in the 30s or the 40s, somebody converted all of this area into a garage. And when they did so, they poured a cement floor. And when they did that, they introduced, you know, the moisture to a lot of these beams. So what we're looking at now is a structure that is not going to be able to be preserved, although what we can try to do is use as many of the timbers as we can to preserve this part of the building, which we believe is older and also ties into this very old part of the house, which we don't have a date for. Anything you want to add to that, Brian or Bruce?
Well, I'm sure you guys will have questions that we can hopefully help to answer, but I don't know, how well can you guys see the pictures of the existing building?
Can we bring those up?
Yeah, I'll make them bigger.
Yeah.
So this is what you're looking at here is the timbers
Embedded in
have been embedded in the concrete. This is the very newer part. This is maybe, you know, 40s. And this is the part that was renovated in, you know, 30s, 40s, and this floor was poured. And when they did that, unfortunately, we've created some, you know, there were some issues created with these supporting timbers, and we can't see what's below them, but it's pretty clear that they have some damage. You can see the old roof above, and it's underneath the newer 30s to 40s roof there. And this is all in that secondary mass we're talking about.
clearly been cut off.
Yeah. And once again, we just wanted to show you guys, whoops, sorry, every time I zoom in, that these timbers that have been buried are rotting away, unfortunately. The thing that makes us think that at some point somebody salvaged a lot of this and sort of brought it together to create some of these structures is that, you know, they have these older 2x8s.
8x8.
Oh, 8x, what? 2x8s?
Yeah, that have been.
The other 2x8s that are nailed together.
Yeah, they're nailed together. Yeah. And so those are what are holding up some of these timbers above. And you can see them pretty well here as well.
And then is there a view of that that shows where it's sitting on the floor? Because I think that's sitting on like a bunch of blocks of wood or something, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, maybe we don't have that. I would have to go through all the pictures to
Okay.
show that.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you zoom into the elevation of the property and just relate these photos to where
Where we're talking about.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
curious
Okay,
about.
so the house, okay, this part of the house is that very old here part of the house.
So the garage bay too, if we're looking at it now on the left-hand side of the screen, you believe is
Mm.
quite old. Or no, that, yeah, okay, that,
Yeah.
This is the oldest part.
right.
These parts
Yep.
may be old or may have been built from other structures on the property at some point.
Okay, let me pause you for a second
Yeah.
because I think I have something visual. Have you guys seen the Sanborn fire insurance maps for this property at all?
No, I did see some, it looked like aerial, but I didn't see this
Okay,
part
let
on it,
me,
so.
Walker, can you pull up that document and just give me the power to scroll through it? Because I think it might be telling. I mean, I think this, it seems like this two bay garage area is the 30s. There's a big change from the 1910, 1916 to the 1930, 1950. Um, there we go.
Oh, yeah, I
So,
think that's what I was looking at, yeah.
yeah, so can I scroll on this now or do I have to tell you, Walker? You're muted. Still muted. Walker, you're muted. I can't. Okay,
Sorry,
there we go.
I lost
Okay.
all my controls when I shared
Oh,
my
that's
screen.
okay. Can you just scroll down? I can't remember which property I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
I know I had some. Just scroll down to the next one. I think this is the one that we're looking at here. Yep. Okay. So go ahead and scroll back up. So in 1873, we can see the property there, the W. Kellogg at the top of the map. And I just thought this was useful because it does show that historic main block with the L, the eastern L, I guess it would be. And then if you scroll down, Walker, we see the first time it appears on the Sanborn maps, and you can see it was a very busy property. So
Mhm.
she's
Yeah.
got that historic L there that, and I don't know what I hadn't come across something in parentheses that says old before, but there are a lot of out structures. I'm not even sure appendages to those
Yeah.
two main blocks that don't exist anymore. And so that's on the same image appears on the 1910 and the 1916. And then if you scroll down, I have in my possession, if you can scroll down to the next one, Walker, um, the 1930, 1950, you can see
Mhm.
something very
Mhm.
significant happened in that
Yeah.
interim. So I'm assuming that what we're looking at here, that garage bay is that last section, that one floor section.
Before
Mm.
people go.
Yeah, and that the historical part to the right, this is the 1.5. That's the original L that we see back in the 1870 map, and then of course we have the main block, and I'm assuming those it's interesting that it's not listed as an the A is that they were storing their auto back there, so it doesn't look like it was a garage at this point, but so that just helps give some context to what we're talking about. We're talking about a relatively recent part of this building, and I wanted to make sure that the commissioner saw that the section that you're looking at is not something that we think dates to earlier than 1930. So okay, so I think that did you want to show us anything else
It's a plan.
on your pictures there? Or did any of
Um,
the commissioners want more clarity on those visuals?
yeah, I think, we're just, at this point, if anybody has any questions or concerns, we'd love to talk about them. I mean, we love this old building. We want to preserve it. That old part where her kitchen is I think that 1.5 that you're looking at on
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And um, it's going to be a little bit hard to tell exactly where that ends because it's been kind of tied together, but absolutely, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it out and keep the integrity of the building as And at the same time, we're going to obviously have to bring it up to code. So we're gonna, we're gonna have to do some, shoring up and preserving and restoring, so.
Right. Okay, Joel, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, can the applicant go into more detail on their proposed addition?
Yeah.
So far, it's been talk about the existing, which has been helpful, but I'd like to know what they're proposing to do.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so this is what we're proposing. So to the point where some of these beams come down here and that we can stop this in a reasonable manner. There's a roof line here that kind of makes sense to stop at, that follows through to the other side. So it would be the second bay and this little wart on the end that would be removed, and they would be replaced with a screen porch that we would like to do in the fashion of a lot of these farmhouses here in, Amherst. I'm not exactly sure when these porches were done, but we think that that this would add, a delightful space, and it wouldn't be outside of the norm of, the Amherst vernacular.
Can you close up that garage elevation?
Sure. Do you mean the picture or the
The
drawing?
picture of the existing north elevation.
Sure.
So you're talking about leaving the left garage and cutting off the right garage.
Yeah. So as
Yeah,
you
so-
can see, there's a roof line here.
And does the left garage sit on a strong foundation?
Well, what we would need to do is, through the process of jackhammering out some concrete and that sort of thing, excavating, we would have to find that out. But
And footings under there if we had to.
yeah, we probably would have to put new footings under, but we think that we can, if not preserve, at least use some of the beams that are in here, and sort of recreate this space in a way that would satisfy the building department.
Is the condition of the left garage similar to the condition of the right garage? I just don't understand why you're keeping that, not starting right at the house.
Two reasons. Okay, so the first reason is because the client would like to maintain some storage space.
Mm-hmm.
But the second reason is because this roof line actually, I know it's really hard to imagine, but it actually follows through over here.
Okay. So it goes further deeper. All right, I
Yes.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that first roof line is integral to this back part of the house.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
second part here is this guy.
Okay,
so,
that explains
okay.
it. Thank you for that explanation. That was the
Yeah,
part I was
it's
asking.
very
Okay.
strange.
Yeah.
Right, so that first bay
Looking up.
essentially attaches to the historic L.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's
All right,
what
good.
an odd, I tell you, I think the 1930s were a really crazy time because nobody had any money. And I mean, it's really true, like that, like you worked with what you had, and you can really see it in the structure here. It's really fascinating. I mean, it's kind of cool to leave one of the historic bays, as sort of a record of the past, and certainly can appreciate that it's less disruptive to the even older historic fabric.
What's fascinating is that both of these openings for garage spaces inside are kind of they're kind of referring back in terms of architectural history to earlier eras. I mean, this is kind of a colonial revival, although done on the cheap, as you're saying, Robin, in the 30s. But picking up on what was a very popular style in the late 19th and early 20th century, when older farmhouses might have gone through, some kind of upstyling, if you want to call it that. But it is very curious to me that the house, the oldest part of the house, where it says on the Sanborn map, old, I'm assuming that that is the oldest part of the house, and that the main house, the big house, to use big house, little house, back house, barn terminology, the big house at the front, or on the right of the second picture on the screen, is newer than this
It
addition,
is.
this middle part. And I'm very grateful for the explanation of how these two garages are working. And now it sort of makes sense that you would want to keep as much that whole first bay of the garage and not have the second bay, which is, am I right in thinking that that's where more of the footing, the existing timbers have rotted, or is that also
Yes.
happening? You're going to also do some work to kind of reinforce the ones on the left bay as well.
We're going to have to
Mm.
restore in here,
Yeah.
Structural.
structurally on the bottom,
Yeah.
where the timbers come down inside. And that's going to depend on what we find once that concrete is gone. I doubt it's very thick, but we just can't see it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just let's see, where are we in our so I think unless anybody else has a question for the presenters, the applicants, we can move forward. I just want to remind, I mean, I want to remind our commissioners. So the purview of the Historical Commission is to decide whether the demolished part of the building would be considered what we would term preferably preserved. And the general sense around that is whether to demolish that portion would be, detrimental to the cultural history of Amherst. So that's basically what we vote on. We don't vote on what follows. So we love having these discussions and engaging with the process that you're undergoing. But what we're actually voting on is whether this would be a significant loss for the town of Amherst. So just wanted to clarify that. And at this point, if there are any members of the public, unless I think I'm going in the right order, Walker, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But this would be the time for public comment. And it does look like George is in our attendees, Walker. It's like it's kind of
Yeah,
like
I actually did try to promote him to a panelist, but he declined. I'm not sure he was aware
Okay.
that this was happening,
Okay.
but
Well, hopefully if he's listening, he'll
yeah.
we'll
So George,
work
I am going
that
to try to
out.
promote you again. If it asks you any questions, say yes. Otherwise, anybody else have questions that you can raise your hand?
Yeah, any members of the public who want to provide a public comment at this point, you could raise your hand. So I'm seeing no hands raised, so we'll just move on to any further discussion. If you want to close out that presentation window. Any further discussion from commission members regarding the matter before us, which is to permit a demolition permit of this portion of this building, or to impose a delay. Nice
We
to
were
see you,
able to
George.
get
Welcome.
George, so
Thank
Okay,
you. It just was difficult this evening for some reason, so.
okay. Glad to have you here. Okay, so I'm not seeing any commissioners with any further questions or comments. So I generally go forward by saying the chair would entertain a motion to allow the demolition permit request for 76 Northeast Street, the demolition of a portion of an attached garage. Um, uh, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Well, okay. Any further discussion at this point? Okay, then we can go forward with a roll call vote. So the motion before us is to allow the demolition permit for the demolition of a attached portion of an attached garage on a single family house, 76 Northeast Street. Joel,
Yes.
Hetty,
Yes.
Kenzie,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. So the motion passes and the demolition permit can go forward, and Walker will give the applicants instructions on where to go from here. We appreciate you coming. It's exciting to
Thank you.
see such an amazing house and it's like, as Hetty referred to, big house, little house, back house, garage.
It is a
So
great
thank you.
house. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'll get you
thank you very
your
much.
authorization certificate through the online portal in the next couple of days, and then you'll be
Awesome.
able to get your building demolition permit.
Can you make the snow go away?
I wish.
Friday.
Sounds like Friday.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
Yep.
You.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay. We're still in public hearing.
See if I can get off this thing.
And so we're going to move to our next item, which is the property at 80 Southeast Street. The applicant is Agnes Ting. And this is a request to demolish an entire single-family home. So Walker, if you want to
Yes, I just promoted
bring the
them.
applicant on, and
Yep. Hi, Agnes.
hi, Agnes.
Hey, Walker. Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. This is my first time. I'm so
Okay,
nervous.
welcome. So, to give you an idea what we're here for, we're going to be reviewing this property and its historical significance in the town of Amherst, and to decide, the commission will decide whether they feel it is a preferably preserved building or whether a demolition permit should be issued. And we're going to begin with information from you about the property.
Okay, may I start?
Yep, go right ahead.
Right. So good evening, everybody. My name is Agnes Ting. I'm the owner of 80 Southeast Street in Amherst since year 2004. The property is located in East Amherst. It was built in 1851. Up to date, it is 174 years old. The property is sitting on a 1-acre lot. It is a farmhouse with 4 bedrooms and 2 baths with an attached shed on the side. I have been operating this house as a rental property. And ever since I have owned this house, I have been constantly upgrading the interior. But the big challenge for this old house is the foundation and the floors. The foundation is made of stone, and it is deteriorated and crumbling. In the past year, I have hired contractors to make repairs, but each year it has failed. The basement keeps flooding, and the floor joints are uneven and unstable. I've long worried about the integrity of the structure and worried one day the floor will collapse out of blue. I really don't feel this house is safe, but to try to repair this house up to today's code seems impossible. Therefore, I'm thinking a new structure would be the best solution for this piece of land. I have noticed that there is a house demand in Amherst. And so my 80 South East Street location would be great for all kinds of tenants because the neighboring home most are rental properties surrounded by commercial business and yeah, as the north side neighbor is Ford River, and the south side neighbor is the Northampton Cooperative Bank, and across the street is Cumberland Farm. It is convenient for everywhere. In my mind, a new structure would be awesome on this land. It will not only benefit for the community and also for our beautiful town of Amherst as well. For the reason I've mentioned, I'm asking the board to please consider my request for the demolition. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your being here. Walker, do we have any information from the town? I do have maps related to this building, and I think one of the things that when I looked at this building that we wanted to talk about a little bit is as Joel and I were talking earlier, this is very similar to the building that we just authorized demolition of on Route 9. But its context is very different. It is in the East Village Center. And so I just wanted to talk and maybe have you kind of talk a little bit about the area and the context and what's going on there. I think we're looking at, I'm not sure what the boundaries are for the existing National Register district and the interest in a local historic district. So
Yeah, let me share. I have the inventory form that Chris Skelly started working on
yep.
here. But I don't know that that shows the district, but there is at least a picture of the house.
Yeah, we can pull up,
It
I can see
does
if I
show
can pull
where
up
on the
one
map it
here.
is. The district, the proposed district, I'm pretty sure this is the last property. Like that is the boundary.
Okay.
It goes like this, and I believe that that's the same as the National Register district. I think we followed the same boundary there.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it is right on the edge. And this area is, as Agnes said, commercial. But yeah, the other historic buildings, all these buildings are within the proposed district.
Yep. Yeah. Can you give me sharing authority and I can just pull, I've got macros pulled up here. So we can look at the building in its context.
Yep.
Okay, so share. Okay. So we should be able to see this is, I believe, the current National Register district. And this pin here, that's it is the James Crossier House. Agnes, I know you noted that it was built in 1851. It's possible that it was built actually prior to that. I'm not sure where that date came from. We have a couple different ones floating around here, but so you can see it here within this general area of the Amherst East Common, this area we're looking at creating a local historic district in order to protect design guidelines for this area. It's not currently in effect, just something to consider. And Walker, if you would, I'll stop sharing here. If you would pull up those maps again, we can just look at the historic maps for this area.
Yeah, give me a second. I think I.
So
So,
if you scroll down to the next set, yep,
Yep.
this is it. There we go. And here you can see where at the bottom of the page where it says east, you can see there's two houses that say Mattoon. You can see that that's right at that intersection there. That is, what year is that? That's the 1833, I think.
Yep.
And that would be consistent with the Greek Revival design of this house. And then if you scroll down a little further, we get to see it again with the owner across here, that right there. Yep. Yep. And then do we have one more map? I think also with
That was it.
oh, that was it. Okay. All right. So that gives you some sense of its historic context. So I think at this point, maybe we want to open up to public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who want to make public comment at this time. So we have only one member of the audience. So if you are a member of the audience and you're interested in making a comment on this particular property in this public hearing, just raise your hand. Okay, so I'm not seeing any public comment. So we will move on to discussion amongst the commissioners. Again, we're looking at this property. What's always challenging before the commission, particularly with owners who have concerns about the maintenance of their buildings, is how we make a fair decision about imposing a demolition delay. Agnes, to remind you, if the commission were to find that this building is preferably preserved, what we would impose is a delay on demolition. That would mean up to a 12-month period where the building couldn't be demolished. The intention would be to use that time to find a solution for the preservation of the building. But if that time expires, the owner is then free to demolish the building. So anyone who comes to us before us with a request for demolition always knows that at the end of 12 months they can demolish the building if that is their course of action, but there may be a delay imposed, just so you understand what the outcome here might be. So and my commissioners as well. So do I have any comments or questions from people to get discussion going? Joel, you're muted.
So 80 Northeast Street is within the proposed historic district of East Amherst, is that correct?
Southeast Street.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So what are the guidelines? I know this district hasn't been established, but once it's established, what are the guidelines on proposing for demolition?
It's a two-step process. So they go through this process, and then they would also go through the local historic district process and get reviewed by the local historic district commission, which has the power to completely block a demolition or allow a demolition, and they would review it with the same guidelines and criteria they would use for any other project in the local historic district.
But that's not established yet.
No, it's not. It is not established, not been voted in.
What's the anticipated timeline on that?
We're having a public hearing in January, and then we will be probably sending it to town council. So at some point, probably in the first half of next year.
Okay. Okay. Hetty, thoughts?
Oh, Mrs. Ting, I'm so sorry that you're having problems with this house, because I think this is a very sweet little Greek Revival house in a very important part of Amherst. And it looks from the map research that Robin has done that someone called Mattoon lived in this house. And Mattoon is a very important name in Amherst historically. And I love the fact that you are the owner now. I think that's in itself a very interesting story to tell about Amherst right now and its history. That you and your family bought this house. I don't know whether you ever lived in it yourselves.
I haven't, because that house, I have a hard time to rent to the family because so old and no family will live there. That's why I rent to the students. They don't care. They just transit 1 year, they're leaving. And I'm worried about that house. I love that house. I want to try to make that house really contemporary, but it's just so impossible. That's why I'm thinking just demolish it to make another structure on the same place to beautify the community and our town of Amherst. That's my.
I would love to see some pictures of the kinds of conditions of your basement that you're talking about. The problem with the stone. I don't know. I mean, there are some buildings that actually Robin and I have looked at on the other side of the intersection that are historic as well. I don't know why you're having flooding problems there, or when that started. That is concerning. It could not be anything to do with the building. It could be something that's happening in a wider context. You're pretty close to the Fort River there. I don't know if you're in the floodplain or the watershed or whatever. But I think
no, it is not. So it's flooded. Yeah, I have one sump pump. Then because it's flooded, yeah, and also from the basement is the two portion. One is entirely, one is a half. So the floor was sinking. My late husband has crawled in. She knows how to do it, concrete, and to put portion to hold the floor. And then because it's so flooded with water, when you're from the basement, you can see through from the foundation. Yeah. And so we made another sump pump. So we have a two sump pump to prevent the flood.
Got it.
And that's also because the hole you can see in the animals, possum, they always make their home in there. So I have a hard time to get rid of them.
Thank you. That's helpful.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. That's
That
okay.
house, I really do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
really do that house. Yeah, but I want to make it temporary, but it's just impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
So since we have so many new commissioners, I can go over a little bit what happens. I mean, I think my feeling personally for this particular property is I feel inclined to impose a demolition delay because of the fact that this is a property that is a, an anchor point on that potential local historic district. There's a lot of suggestion too the historic significance of this in the context. It has a lot of its historic fabric. It's still got the clapboards. You can see the corner posts of the Greek Revival design. The intention with imposing a demolition delay is to find a solution. And solutions can be finding a different owner who has capacity to rehabilitate the house. A solution is sometimes relocating a house, although that's sort of a last effort. But that's the purpose of this delay. It's really to say that we feel that this house is, that we know that it's significant. We feel like that we would prefer it to be preserved because of its connection to this particular area, and we see if there's a way to move forward with that process. So
may I say some? Yeah, may I say something? Yeah,
Mhm.
because that house has asbestos, so we have already ripped it off and take the asbestos off.
Yep.
Oh, and the floors, everything is it's just unbelievable. It's all kind of destructed. Yeah.
Right.
So
one of the options that the commission can do is that we can impose a delay, and then we can allow the applicant to return to the commission after a certain period of time. It doesn't have to be the full 12 months, could be 3 months or 6 months, to see if, a buyer has come forward or if some other solution can be found to preserve the house. So ultimately, the owner has the right to do nothing and simply wait 12 months.
May I say something else too? Yes, I
Sure,
would.
sure,
Yeah. I do whatever the board tell me to do. However, my plan is if I demolish this house, I will build a triplet townhouse to make this place more beautiful. Yeah, we're convenient for all kinds of tenants to benefit for the community and the town of Amherst. That's my purpose.
Yes. And we absolutely recognize the good intention there. What we struggle with here is that our purview is the historic context, and that is sometimes challenging against redevelopment uses. So that's kind of what we're working for here. So just so everybody understands kind of what's before us. I don't know if George or Kenzie want to weigh in at all with any thoughts.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, if now or at any point in the near future before the district were established, what kind of hoops would they have to jump through? Because obviously, if we today said, okay, we agree that it should be demolished, they've obviously got to do something with that map because there's no longer historic structure there. So their proposal has to change somehow. I would take it.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
think that would
suppose
just
that,
be Walker. That would just be an adjustment to the. I mean, it could conceivably would be the same boundary, but the property there would be considered non-contributing. So in a historic district, you have contributing properties, those that are related to the historic context of that particular area, and then non-contributing buildings. So it might be that the border would remain the same, but that property would flip from uh contributing to non-contributing, or it might be an empty lot at the point that it's developed, but
yeah, it seems like the applicant is really interested in moving forward. So if we were to do a delay, I would think we need to come up with a pretty tight schedule as to, I don't know if she's interested in selling it. I don't, it- to keep it
No, I'm
within
not.
historic context.
right.
So, we would need to, I think we should come up with a pretty tight plan as to what we would see as being the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this property is a really great example of what's so challenging here because the impetus behind the delay, and some communities have extended their delays to 18 months and 24 months because finding a solution can be challenging. So a couple of years ago, we had a property up in off near Leverett, where there was also a small Greek revival building, and the owner was interested in, I think, rehabbing it in a way that he wanted to pull down the main structure. And we did impose a 12-month delay, and it was not met with joy. And it also ultimately succeeded. So those 12 months actually allowed for a preservation plan to develop over time. And that's what's challenging because it is our right to, as a commission, to impose the delay, and can make owners uncomfortable. In the end, it is just a delay. It is just 12 months. That's the worst thing that can come out of it. And those 12 months can be used to see if there's a solution. Now, what I was referencing before is the opportunity to impose a 12-month delay with the contingency that, if the house is put on the market or, and maybe Walker can weigh in a little bit about what the town does in this regard. But if you can see that there are, all opportunities have been, no one has come forward. There's really no way to that we're going to see a resolution to this, then the applicant can come back to the commission and then we can give a shorter time period. So we can take that 12 months and make it shorter. But if we make it shorter now, we don't necessarily have the benefit of using it to its full purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty clear that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Patty, did you have a question?
I mean, I'm sorry we haven't had a site visit for this house. We usually do as part of the demolition delay process. And given what Mrs. Ting is saying about the structural integrity of the house in the basement, you know, I'd really like to see that. And you know, the whole point about the East Village in Amherst is that it is the most historic part of Amherst in terms of where the town began.
Right.
And this little house, you know, is, as Robin says, probably earlier than 1851. It's Greek revival. It could be as early as 1810. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. And it's a very nice example, as is the house on Amherst Road in North Amherst, where we also imposed a delay, and that house is still there. It's a very good example of what you would have found in that part of town, in that village, when it was a village. In the early 19th century, it was a very mixed residential and commercial area with little tanneries and sort of agricultural related industry, but also the sort of beginnings of what was going to come later with the hat factory and stuff like that. So I would really like to have an opportunity to see the inside of the house.
Of course.
Walker, what is
yeah.
do we have an opportunity to, I mean, we have several things going on here. I was going to suggest if we have I know there's a certain timeline where if we don't make a decision, the demolition is granted. I can't remember the phraseology, but
Constructively granted, yeah.
Yeah,
And I believe
right.
the deadline for this one is the 19th. So
the
you have 4
19th of
days.
this month, right? So there's
Yeah.
no way to, other than to impose a delay at this point, to extend the time where we could guarantee that
You
demolition.
could continue the hearing. You could say you want some more information. If Agnes agreed and everybody
Okay.
agreed that the hearing needed to be continued, you could do that, and that would extend the
Okay,
time.
so it depends on the applicant's agreement. Okay. Okay, so that's one option. And then the other thing I was going to point out is that if we're looking at, I'm not sure what the timeline would be for the local historic district going through. This gets complicated because so the applicant is here under demolition delay. We have the opportunity to impose a 12-month delay. If that local historic district is granted within those 12 months, then the applicant is in a very different position.
Yeah, I'm not.
Basically without the opportunity or without the definitive opportunity for demolition.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether because I know in some planning permits, if the project is ongoing, the new zoning doesn't impact it, and I'm not sure if the same sort of like thinking applies to local historic districts, that if a project is, you know, under a different kind of review, that it wouldn't then apply. But I'm guessing that yes, once the delay was over, once anything was done, then she probably would also have to be reviewed by the local historic district if it was approved by then.
Right, right. So that has much more impact. And George, in terms of what I was saying before, you know, I was talking about a circumstance where in 12 months you're guaranteed the opportunity to demolish. It's just a waiting period. And if this waiting period runs up against moving the house into a local historic district, then I think that puts us in a different spot. So maybe the best option would be to discuss. Can you just talk to Agnes about what a continuation would involve and schedule?
Yeah, so Agnes, if you were willing, we could continue this hearing to another date, probably in January, and we would have another meeting, and that would give a chance for the commission to come see the house and see the foundation. And then we would have another meeting, and that's when they would decide about the demolition. So we wouldn't have to make a decision tonight. Would you be okay with
Understood.
waiting for another
Of
month?
course, of course, appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's probably the way to go then.
Okay, do we need to vote on that? Or is that just something that
Yeah,
we,
I think you should vote. Well,
Okay.
yeah, well, let's vote just to be safe. You don't close the hearing, but yeah, let's vote for continuation because you have to say what day it's going to be continued to. So,
oh, okay, okay. And so do we want to pick a date that it would be continued to since
yeah,
the,
you have to.
okay.
So looks like the 19th, perhaps. I have a meeting on the 12th already. So for me, the 19th would be better, or the
The
26th.
19th is Martin Luther
Oh
King
yeah,
Day.
so it'd have to be the 20th,
Okay,
or the
I
26th.
I can make the 20th happen. I'm usually not available Tuesdays, but that's fine.
Anyone else have objections about a Tuesday, the 20th in January?
It's okay for me.
And can we arrange for a site visit to see the interior as well as the exterior?
Yes, I will.
Walker, if you send me your dates and times, I'm available after the 9th. I can send out a poll.
Okay, for the site visit, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So, do we need a motion to make a vote? We do, don't we?
Yeah, make a motion to continue the hearing to 7 p.m. on Tuesday, January 20th.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So I'll make the motion that we continue the hearing to the date of January 20th, Tuesday, January 20th at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And
Okay.
in the intervening time, we have a site visit.
And do I have a second?
Second,
Okay. Okay, so we'll take a roll call vote. Joel,
Yes.
Hetty,
Yes.
Kenzie,
Yes.
George,
yes.
and I vote yes also. Okay, so the motion passes. So Agnes, we will see you again.
Okay,
at
thank
a
you so
site
much.
visit at your house.
Yeah,
And
I will talk to you about when the site visit can be.
okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Appreciate you being
much.
here.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
for being here.
I tell the truth, this is my greatest opportunity to see everybody, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate your support.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you too.
And I learned a lot, too much. I learned a lot today.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Yep. Good evening.
Okay. So with that, we are going to need a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a motion? Actually, we're gonna wait for Joel to get back. Here we go. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Feel free to say so moved.
So moved.
Okay, Joel is motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Okay. Vote to close public hearing. Hetty,
Aye.
Kenzie,
Yes.
George,
yes.
and Joel.
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So the hearing is closed. Public hearing is closed at 8:08 p.m. Thank you, everybody. With that, we will move on to the remainder of our items on our agenda. We have approval of the meeting minutes from November 24th, 2025. Did anybody have any questions or discussions about the minutes? I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 24th, 2025 as submitted.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll take a vote. Hetty,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Joel,
Yes.
Kenzie,
Yes.
and I vote aye also. So that is 5-0. The minutes are approved. Next up is announcements. Walker, do you have any announcements for us?
I don't know that this is going to impact you a ton, but we did, and you might already all know this, hire a new director of the planning, director of planning and economic development.
Yay.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Uh,
He started on the first, so he's a little bit, just treading water at the moment, but I think he's
Sure.
gonna be a good
Okay.
addition
And
to the team.
what is his name?
His name's Jeffrey Bagg. He was working for a private firm, but before that, he was the director of planning in East Hampton for a time. And I actually
Okay.
worked with him there while I was in school. And then he actually was in my position in Amherst about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So
Great.
he's come full circle. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Great to hear.
Mhm.
Any other announcements? Okay. I know Hetty was eager for us to discuss the South Common housing proposals. Who wants to jump in about that? Walker, do you want to present on that?
I haven't been involved in that project, but I'm happy to share the presentation if that would be helpful.
Okay, Hetty, do you want to chat it up?
I wasn't able to attend the presentation, but I have seen some of the schemes that have been proposed for the school and its land on Fiddler's Green, as the South Common is sometimes referred to. And so I'm just very curious about learning more. I don't know whether, Robin, we could invite the people who are making this proposal, the planning study, to come and meet with the Historical Commission. I would like more people in the public realm in Amherst to be able to weigh in on this. Again, it's a very historic part of town. Having said that, it's not, because I checked, officially one of the town's 5 village centres where there is a focus on planning and development. Those are downtown, North Amherst, East Amherst, Cushman, and Atkins Corner. So South Amherst Common does not appear in that category. And so I'm just curious as to why this concept is being kind of rolled out, and hope that there's a time when we can take a closer look at the bones of the proposal. There are some references in the proposal to the idea of an inn, INN, as one of the options for the site, which is a quite large building, sort of referencing historic inns in New England. I think that's the idea. That was very interesting. That involved retaining the school building, and then I think the others demolished the building. So, there are people who feel quite strongly in the community about this common. It's beautiful. It has some very historic buildings around it, and I'm just unsure of why it's being considered as a place for housing. Not that I'm not in favor of housing, especially affordable housing in Amherst, but I'm very interested in some of the things they've come up with. I like some of the things that they've come up with. Not that that matters one way or the other, but I think that's all I want to say. It's really nice to be able to see the whole presentation scroll before me as I babble along. But I think, it would be great to get some more input as to why this is being considered.
Walker, can we invite the
Yeah,
town
so
and the developer to kind of come visit us and talk to us about it?
this is a town-owned land, obviously. So this is the planning board is funding this
Mhm.
proposal for redevelopment. So they hired the developer to come do a suitability study. They're not making solid plans yet, and they haven't proposed selling the property yet. But they are trying to go through the process of deciding what would make most sense there, what's feasible there financially, and what people would support there. So they had this public hearing that the presentation was given at. I don't know what other public engagement they're planning, but I'm guessing there probably will be more because they haven't completed the process, come anywhere near the end of this process. So I'm guessing they are going to have more public meetings and more public engagement. But I can ask Nate if it would make sense for him to come. He's been kind of heading the project and tell you a little more about it, or if it would make more sense for the architects to come. But I'm sure we can get someone here to talk a
Yeah.
little more about it.
Both. I mean,
Yeah,
you
or
know,
both.
to get the town perspective and then the architect's perspective would be great.
Mhm. And I think housing is just always at kind of the top of everybody's minds.
Sure.
There is such a housing shortage that if housing works on a site, that tends to be what the planning board leans to, but that doesn't mean it has to be housing. And in fact, you'd really have to change the zoning a lot in this lot to get that much housing on it. It's not zoned for that right now. So that would definitely be a process if they decided to go ahead and do that. So yeah, basically there's a lot of processes left to talk about, but this is a good beginning, and it would be good to get them here to talk to you all so you could all add your comments and thoughts so they would know. The more people they hear from, the better.
Great. Yeah, if you could just let Nate know
Yeah,
and schedule it on one of our next upcoming meetings, that would be great.
yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Hetty. Oh, super interesting. Okay,
I
that
went to that meeting.
Oh, you
That
did?
presentation, yeah. It was interesting. Sorry to interrupt. It
No,
seemed
you're not interrupting.
there were a lot of over 55 people that seemed interested in the possibilities for reuse of that building. Yoga classes, art classes, perhaps, over 55 type of living. But that was the majority of the feedback that I heard. People looking to downsize. It could be an interesting spot for something like that. Like I liked when they showed the various options. The Riverwalk I thought looked really attractive, that Concord project. But I have to be honest, I mean, the South Amherst Common is the last of Amherst, old Amherst charming part of Amherst that I remember as a kid. All of Amherst has been all developed and different, and this South Amherst Common is the only part of Amherst that remains the same. And so
What
I'm gonna
are
keep.
the
I'm gonna.
dates of the school there? Hetty, do you
Pardon?
know the dates of the school? Because part
When it
of it
was
is,
built?
yeah.
I
I
think
don't know.
if it's younger in date than its equivalent in the East Village.
It,
It's
it
brick.
looks like it has like a 60s addition on it.
Yes.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind seeing the addition go, but I'd like to see
19
this keep the school.
1906 is the at least
The main
original
block.
date, I guess,
Okay.
according to the
Interesting.
presentation.
Okay. And so there were proposals to keep the main block, but also build out from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
everything's on the table right now. But I mean it's a very special part of town.
Yep.
And hate to see one of those big 5-story monstrosity apartment buildings there. It'd be horrible.
Yeah, I
Yep.
don't think zoning would allow that in any case. I think they would have an extremely hard time making anything more
Well,
than
they were in the
3
proposals.
stories. But yeah, well, the developers are going to say whatever, but whether that's
And
actually
who are the developers anyways?
well, we don't have developers yet. They're just architects.
Yeah. So
The
The
special
architects like
part
to
of town.
dream.
okay. Other comments on the South comment? Okay. So that brings us to public comment. Whoops, I raised my own hand there.
Uh,
Looking at our
Hilda.
participants. Hilda, Welcome,
I just
Hilda.
want to refute a comment that was just made, Walker. You know about 40B? I live up here in a very old house in RO, and I'm getting a 5-story, 150 unit apartment house next door within 200 feet. And
That's
so
true.
with
Sometimes
40B,
40B, yeah.
it doesn't matter if there's no sewer, it doesn't matter if there's no sidewalks. If 40B comes in wanting 150 units, they're not going to get turned down. And the thing that makes me maddest about that is those units are rental units. So after the first year, if we're lucky, we might get 70% local preference the first year. But after that, all the people from all the towns around us are going to come to Amherst to live, and we're going to be paying for those school kids and that sewer line and that sidewalk forever. And so it can go on the Amherst, South Amherst Common right in the middle of the grass if that's what they decide they want to do, if that's more important to this town than historic preservation. And I'm going through it right now, and Beacon Properties came to my house today for 2 hours and met with a bunch of my neighbors. So don't take anything for granted. If that is not a local historic district, there's nothing you can do about it. I just wanted to say that. And I also just wanted to add about the house on South, on the common on East Amherst there, the south end of it. When you go to look at it, see if there's anything worth preserving on the interior. Is it still Greek Revival on the inside, or has it been transformed over the years? Just that would make a difference of whether somebody might be interested in putting the money in to save it if the inside is still intact.
Yep. Okay.
But I'm very unhappy about this. All those pictures of the school and things added to it make me very unhappy. And Joel knows because he was a kid. Went to a building, to a nursery school in a building where the rest of it was retired nuns. And the retired nuns had not only the company of the little kids there all day long, but that provided the income for their retirement. And so I'm thinking that something of the order of elderly housing with school children within the building or a small addition to it makes a lot more sense than what I looked at in those pictures. But that's your decision. But just to make sure you understand that 40B can do whatever it wants and it'll go right through this town because they don't care about preservation. And Hetty is helping them understand it by all her wonderful columns that she's become one of the chief writers of the Amherst Indy right now. Because everybody reads her columns, and I think they're waking up to some of the things that might be worth saving. So I've said my bit.
Thank you, Hilda. Always lovely to hear from you.
Oh yeah, well, anytime you want, I can have plenty to talk about.
Okay, have a good night. Okay.
She should have a podcast.
Yeah, you and she should have a podcast. So that brings us to unanticipated items. Any unanticipated items from our crew? We're all getting close to the holidays here. Okay, I think that just means we've already scheduled our next meeting because we had a continuance of the hearing. So we know when
Motion to adjourn. Can
that's going to
we
be.
need a motion to adjourn, Robin? I think maybe we don't.
I don't think we do. Nope. We're
Happy
shaking our head.
holidays, everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays. It's 8:23. Thanks for coming.
Happy holidays.
See you in the new year.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.